Well, we're lucky to be joined by Karthik Ganesh, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his daughter Zoe. And I saw just a picture you guys had just sent over. I saw her smile in that picture, and but from your guys' perspective, tell me a little bit about Zoe and what should people know about her?
Our little superhero. Um, she when she passed away when she was 5.5. She just graduated from pre-K, and she told the entire audience at her pre-K graduation that she wanted to be a paleontologist ballerina. So that was my little Zoe in a nutshell. And um, Suman and I had Zoe after a bunch of miscarriages. So when she came into our lives, she was the best thing that had ever happened to us. And I will tell you now, 10 years after her passing, as much as I am absolutely in love with the two little boys in my life now, Zoe is always the best thing that happened to us. And she, it 5-year-old girl she loved the movie Tangled. Tangled was first dad and daughter date night. That was the first movie we watched together. I mean, we watched a bunch of films, but mom had gone out, so she and I watched that movie together. She loved My Little Pony. Rainbow Dash was her favorite. She was beyond obsessive about her mother, and her mom was as well about her. And diagnosed in September of 2012, passed away in November of 2012, start to finish. If you started the conversation off, Keith, by talking about lucky to have me on this, I will tell you the word luck is it means so many different things. And for as devastating as her loss was, just incredibly blessed that the start to finish was 2 months. She did not, she suffered, but she didn't suffer in all the ways that we had read about and the ways we'd heard about. And she did not shed an iota of her attitude through the entire 2.5 months, 54 weeks, 54 days, sorry. And you played music. She loved Adele. Somehow she figured Adele was still good enough music for ballet, and she would dance all over the place, even with her steroids and everything else. She wanted to dance to Adele. Adele was her thing, and just an absolute blessing, Keith. And
Well,
my wife and I are better for the years she spent with us.
You sound like a girl dad. I appreciate that because that's all I have are girls, and very much a girl dad as well. The paleontology ballerina, that's got to be the really the thing that tells you everything you need to know about Zoe.
Yeah.
A lot of families and a lot of kids that go through this, you really don't see it coming with the initial diagnosis on it. I mean, how did you guys start to find out, that she had, this cancer? And can you tell us a little bit about, those days, if you don't mind?
Absolutely. I mean, she started complaining of, we could tell she was having eyesight issues. She started complaining of double vision. And that really was the starting point for us. And we kept taking her back to her pediatrician and to her ophthalmologist, and the progression of a girl who had just gone through her annual physical. She turned 5 in June. She went through her annual physical. They said 20/20 vision in July, double vision August. August, she was her power just kept increasing from an eyeglasses standpoint, and we were like, something's not right here. And we took her in again to the pediatrician multiple times. She puked a couple of times, and we were like, all right, this is what's going on here. Something seems to be happening very quickly. And then I was at work one morning, and Suman, my wife, called me and said, hey, she had not had breakfast yet. Zoe was on an empty stomach and she just puked. And I don't know what, and she said, Karthik, you got to come home right now. So something told her at the back of her mind that this was not
Yeah.
normal anymore. And you can call it parental intuition. I actually literally walked into my CEO's office and I told her, Zoe has a tumor. I'm going home right now. And no idea why I said that. Went home, we took Zoe to, we used to live in Princeton. We took her to the local, we took her to the University of Princeton Medical Center. So we told her pediatrician was still trying to figure out if something was going on and she'd eaten something. And we said, no, we are absolutely getting a CT scan done on this girl. Enough is enough. We're not waiting anymore. We got the CT done at the University Medical Center at Princeton. And they said, hey, we're seeing something that we don't like. We think you got to take her into CHOP. So we took her into Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And they did their MRI and they said she's got this thing called DIPG and you've got between 3 to 6 months. And okay, and that was really the September 1, 2012. Everything that she taught us can be summarized in one sentence. I was driving her someplace and I think I was driving her to her favorite candy store. And she was sitting in the back seat and I was crying while I was driving. And she said, Dad, why are you crying? And I said, I'm really angry at God.
Mm.
And she said, Dad, you're missing the point. He didn't give me the boo-boo. He's taking it away.
Mm.
And that was Zoe. Equanimity in the midst of an absolute storm. Poised, calm, no highs, no lows. For Suman and I, she was our little monk. Did not let, there was always this other perspective to life that she saw. That wasn't just when she was sick, Keith. I mean, even when she was well, I felt everything I needed to know about leading the right kind of life I learned from my daughter.
Yeah, surprising, isn't it? Because we think we're teaching our kids, and in reality, going through this type of stuff, I think we realize that they're the ones that are teaching us, and
100%.
it's effectively how we deal with the world afterwards too. Let me ask you about your family, your friends. Obviously, the community is with many parents and families wrap their arms around you. Can you talk a little bit about those folks that support you and even still today?
Yeah, absolutely. It's as you know, as most families will attest to, as you know, the key, it is a bit of a mixed bag, right? So you've got our family for Suman and I, our family's in India. They came over, they were with us. My aunt who lived in Boston, she came over and spent through the entire radiation. She was there with us throughout. Suman's sister lives in, she lived in Plano at that point. Her husband and her were with us throughout. So we had a packed house. So for Zoe, she had a house that was filled with family. She had a house that responded to her every whim. And there was just a lot of love in that house for her. As it pertained to the outside, some friends knew how to deal with it as it pertained to reacting and work and interacting with us. I would say more did not. We always think cancer happens to somebody else. Somebody else's kid got sick. Oh, wow, it's not going to happen to us. So when my explanation or my rationalizing of a lot of those behaviors was this got too close for a lot of people, and they with kids of this. I mean, at a certain point, our friends become the parents of our kids as friends.
Yeah.
And a lot of these folks were the notion of imminent death was too close for them, and they didn't know how to handle it. And someone was actually pregnant with my older boy even before Zoe was diagnosed. So when I and she was a rock. I mean, just amazing the way she handled what was imminent with her daughter while also just being amazing for the baby that she was carrying. So we really zeroed in on our the family and the support that we were getting inside the house. The amazing thing we got, Zoe always wanted to go to kindergarten, and uh, the school sent a teacher over. The school did a lot of small little things to make things very special for her. We took her into school one day where she felt like she was a part of the classroom. She made the teacher promise to give her homework. I mean, it was a child who, as stoic as she was clearly craving in her own mind a level of normalcy that she knew she wasn't going to see. And I think it was about 2 weeks before she passed, where she said, "You keep telling me the boo-boo is going to get better, Dad. It really isn't, right?" I was like, "No, it is. She's like, "No, I don't think it is." And that's okay. And so she was creating her own version of normalcy. And but the school was amazing. Some of her friends were amazing. And then the family was just, we always believe it is possible to exist on an island. And then something like this happens and you realize that they're called family for a reason.
You decide when I reached out to you to ask you to participate in Giving First, you jumped in with both feet. I think obviously you have a desire for Zoe's legacy to be about other children, to try to be able to find that total cure. Can you speak to a little bit about why that's important to you? Because I think a lot of folks look at this and say, if it were my own child, I probably would run away. And I think it's, to some degree, the exact opposite. Why is it important that, Zoe's legacy is about curing this cancer, beating this cancer, and helping other kids?
Keith, how can we look at our kids and say, you are the future, and not do everything we possibly can to make sure that every kid out there has a future? So we dabbled in a lot of different things. And we'd started a fund at Lucille Packard at Stanford. But things happen for a reason. I'm so glad we connected earlier this year. What you're doing, what you and Brooke are doing is just so phenomenal. And my wife and I are extremely blessed that we feel like we're helping move the ball forward for the other Zoes and the Elenas of the world. And we feel like we're doing it with people like you and Brooke, who have a vision, who have direction, who are mobilizing the right way, where it feels like we're not spraying and praying, and we're actually working with folks who, like you, who are doing it in a very methodical manner.